How's it going, you guys? Welcome back to another edition of the podcast. This is Dad's Podcast Project. My name is Ramon, and today I wanted to talk about a question that came up on my Instagram. Not a question that I asked, but one that I had come across. This question was posed by Patricia, and those of you may know her better as Trisha Snaps Fit Pics. Now, she's a local in my area, and she was kind of asking a question about the best ways to build credit for her son. And now, being a person who has had to build credit myself, I figured maybe I'll chime in on this one. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So building credit at any age can be something that, we all have to enter that realm at one point or another. And just providing my own, path towards building my credit, when I answered Patricia's question on Instagram, I suggested, why don't you have him apply for a credit card, like a student credit limit through his bank or whatever may have you. A local credit union even, those offer pretty good entry-level credit cards for young adults. And then I kind of spilt into like a little bit of an off-topic suggestion, which for those who follow like financial podcasts or anything like that on building credit and establishing yourself, one of the things that comes up is the acquisition of cars, used cars, in order to establish yourself with your credit. Because when you pay off that loan, it tends to bump your credit score in a really good way. Maybe more so, arguably, in comparison to a credit card. So that was my second suggestion. Maybe find a $3,000, $4,000 used car. And then I kind of remembered how much money I was pulling in when I was 18. And I figured, well, maybe $1,000, $1,500 used car. Purchase that, this, that, whatever. And you're starting to build credit. You sell that, get another car. And she responded with, well, he wants to build credit because he wants to buy a car, a nice car. And not going to lie, I remember being that age myself. I wanted new cars. I didn't want, though I did have a used car that was purchased by my parents. I guess it's different to purchase something that's on your own and that you feel is more yours, and you take a little bit more pride and have a little bit more value in that. So she then further expressed how, she's pretty financially savvy herself. She's gone through all the steps through her life to make positive financial decisions. And it got me thinking about how eventually my children, just as everybody else's children, is going to reach that point where they're going to have to make decisions on their own that we can only suggest, recommend, inform of the actions and the courses that we took. But at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do. And they have to learn some of these life lessons firsthand. We might be able to tell our children, don't buy a new car. It's not the most financially sound thing to do. Maybe build a savings, maybe start a retirement plan, maybe think about purchasing a house first. It's a much different perspective, I guess, when you put yourself back into that frame of mind, when you were a young adult yourself. And she hit me with this really good line after her, because we were just conversing via DM, and how, she had gone through all her own, financial endeavors, and that she's just trying to find what will suit him. And that really resonated with me, because it is pretty loud. I don't know what's going on right now. There's some drag racing going on the street or something, but if you guys can hear that through the mic, but sort of a tangent there. It's just one of those things that no matter what it is we did in our life, as I stated before, our kids are going to just grow up and they're going to make decisions on their own. All of the lessons eventually come to be less than, meaning less frequent. So, whereas my children are right now, they are extremely dependent. They need all the advice they can get. They need all the help that they can get. And as they get older and start approaching the age that Patricia's son is, that dependency starts to wean, and that independence begins to really show in a much more rapid way. So it's almost as if, not to say that the feeling is you're no longer a parent to them, but it's almost as if you transition into a much more trusted advisor, because they're no longer going to have to do what you say. And I can speak from experience with this one too, because just kind of chiming in on a story from when I was younger and I was going to leave a job that I have been working. It was McDonald's, not going to lie. I think McDonald's was a great place in hindsight to start out at, but I was adamant about quitting. I didn't want to turn in a 2-week notice. I just wanted to be done. I didn't want to go back. Didn't even want my last paycheck, just wanted out of there. And my parents were really dead set, like, no, you have to go. You have to give a 2-week. You have to do this. It's the right thing to do. And me being 18, I figured, I've got to pass on this. It's not going to tarnish my work history, my work record. And it was the one moment in later conversations that I would have with my mom that she really felt that she couldn't tell me what to do anymore, that I was going to make my own decisions, whether positive or negative. I needed to learn these things on my own. And the same thing when it comes to our children when they want to establish credit. There might be good ways. There might be bad ways. You as parents yourself may have done some of the good things. You may have even done some of the bad things. And you might really want to hound in on your child and tell them, do this, do this, do this. And they might want to do the exact opposite. And you just got to trust that whichever way they go, if they have a good head on their shoulders, they'll land feet first. I learned the hard way. I think the only used car I ever had was the one that my parents had purchased for me when I was in high school. Every car after that was a new car. And I could not, I guess, realistically on paper, afford these cars and say rent. So I was that driving around a nice new car kind of guy while still living at home. So the path that I took, I almost feel in hindsight, I would like to encourage my kids when they get older to not take. I would like them to buy the used car. I would like them to save for retirement, to have 6-month savings in the bank before even entertaining the idea of purchasing a car, saving up for a down payment so that they don't need to have me as a cosigner or even ask or depend upon anybody as a cosigner. But again, it has to be what suits them. We as parents have to encourage and help in the developmental process from infancy until young adulthood, and then transition into an advisor type phase to where we recommend, we provide our knowledge that you might not want to do that because this, that, and the other, or you might want to try this for these same reasons. And really just try to encourage, because one of the things that I keep falling back on in my thought process is not so much living through my son. I don't want to live through my kids. I don't want to be a father I never played basketball, so you're going to play. Or I played basketball, so you're going to play. You need to be a champion. You need to do this. You need to do that because I never did it or because this is what I did. I want to live with them. I want to live my life next to them, see it through their eyes, experience the world almost a second time over because they have all the opportunities to become who it is that they want to be in this life. And it's an amazing thing for me to continue to experience on the daily, just suggesting, recommending, and encouraging. And in my DMs with Patricia or Trisha Snaps Fit Pics, for those of you who follow her on Instagram, or for those of you who don't know and you want to follow her on Instagram, there you go. That's her handle. It's another just reassurance that never stops, no matter what the age is, that there's always room to encourage, to motivate, and to support as it suits them. Because it's not so much about us. We have our lives, we live our lives, and we have to also let them live theirs and encourage that growth and nurture that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys today. It was sort of a off-topic thing, sort of talking a little bit into the future. I mean, I talk about my experiences with my children and what it is that we're going through as a family or that I'm going through as a father. And these conversations that we have with each other as parents, I think is really vital. It's very important to have these open dialogues with one another, non-judgmental, of course, because I don't think you can really learn much if you're like, I hear what you're saying, but you should do it this way. Like, I don't want to start that whole, you should parent this way, or I should be parenting that way. It's just, I think it's non-constructive. And having conversations with other parents, when do we teach them about finances? Do we teach them about finances? Patricia mentioned to me that in school, she learned to write a check. I don't remember learning that in school. It would have been great. I mean, growing up as a kid, we often asked, like, why are we learning these things? We don't really have the scope of what the education system is, that platform or that sort of mock reality of what the world is going to be like. You have a job you go to, you have classes you go to, you have a task you have to complete every day, you have homework you have to complete. All of these things, we need to continue to educate ourselves or study and learn. And the same thing goes with finances. I remember myself and a couple other friends growing up, we always wondered, like, why do we need this math? What are we going to use this for? Am I going to use this in the real world? And for most jobs, maybe you're not. For a lot of jobs, at least for myself, I have to use things like trigonometry or advanced algebra and all of these different equations. These just go hand in hand with being a machinist. Maybe not so much calculus or trig when it comes to construction back when I was welding, but still, mathematics is a major role in fabrication and manufacturing. So that's one reason why it's important. But another thing that should be taught as a fundamental is how to manage your money. They don't offer classes to teach kids how to manage their money, teach them about interest rates, teach them about how to understand the structure of a loan, whether it's a car loan, a home loan, whatever kind of loan. Dealing with loan sharks, I don't know. Like, you should understand interest rates, APRs, like all that stuff when going into the world. Because as soon as you're 18 and you want to buy a car, you're learning right then, right there. And the first car that I ever bought, I was reamed over when it came to the interest rate. It was not what I was supposed to be signing my name on that dotted line for. So they made out on my inability and inexperience with understanding finances. It was a lesson that I learned very quickly, and I've not made that mistake again. But again, educating our children. If the school isn't going to do it, it's up to us as parents to do these things. We teach them to cook, we teach them to clean. I think that managing money is just as vital, just as important as all of the other things in life that school isn't going to teach you. So with that, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this podcast. I'm going to cut this short. I feel like I'm sort of just bouncing back on the same thing, but I wanted to let you guys know that there are new episodes every Monday. The videos come out as they are made. So if you're seeing these videos and you're wondering why the episode is so much later when it hits iTunes or when it hits Stitcher or wherever it is you guys consume your podcasts, just know it's because of that. I don't want these videos sitting on my hard drive forever. They're usually 1 to 1.5 gigabytes, and that's a big file. So podcasts are scheduled through my website, www.ramoncampamore.com. And from there, it's just every Monday. Every Monday, you guys can expect a new one. And again, these videos, they come out as they're made. So if you're seeing it as it's released, this episode probably won't be available for a couple more weeks, just because I have other podcasts ahead of it. So thank you again. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, other parents out there, when it comes to understanding finances, or when it comes to just your children in general being interested in establishing credit for themselves. One financial advisor that I kind of listen to and follow on YouTube is, I think it's Gordon Ramsay or Gordon James. I can't remember. He's an elderly man and he just talks finances. That's his bag. He does that. So he's a guy that I listen to, and just talking to other parents who do it themselves, who have purchased cars and purchased homes. What did they do? How did they get where they are? How did they build their credit? Because, and if you don't know as a parent, you ought to find out from somebody else too. There's no shame in that. It's all collective knowledge. And I'm willing to share mine. I don't know everything, but the little tidbits that I provide to you guys and the little tidbits that I receive from you guys only helps us to grow as a community of parents, future parents, children, whatever it is, whomever you are out there listening to this. So again, thank you guys for taking the time to listen. And as always, till next time, see ya.